Twilight is falling on the Hacienda when Feline Feman arrives. The garden lights illuminate the many marble, Rubenesque statues surrounding the walkways as Feline makes his way into the main building. The Hacienda is a special place for special individuals. To get inside, you have to make it through a series of gates and checkpoints. It is honestly a very glamorous compound that only those expected to arrive might gain access. The Hacienda is expecting Feline, though he is definitely arriving later than his reservation. Feline enters the bar area and promptly addresses the bartender, who is already quite busy cleaning glasses in a maroon foam of dishwater. "Bartender, I'm starving. I'll have an 18, neat and warm." The young woman springs to the shelves behind the bar. Without a word, she pours the drink and has it in Feline's hand, fast, silent, and exactly as requested. As Feline holds his glass steady and ready to sip, a patron on the other side of the bar raises his glass and proclaims, "I'm having a 21." Feline looks up and recognizes his old friend, Timothy Lyman, CEO of Lime, one of the world's biggest technology companies. "To health, Timothy. To health, Fee." They raise their glasses, then both drink. The warm cocktail's red contents bring a flush to Feline's cheeks as the taste registers on his palate. Irony, he thinks to himself. Tim walks over to Feline, drink in hand. The 18 is delish. It has such a lively finish, Feline reviews for Tim. Well, the 21 is fantastic, a little bit more mature than the 18. How does he manage to get so much flavor? An older man, white shaggy hair with dark glasses and tan suit, enters the room from behind the bar. "Good evening, gentlemen. The key is to get the grapes when they're young and fresh. Most important is how you crush them. I have a special process that renders the most from the skin." Grapes. Hilarious. "Am I getting a hint of an up and a down?" Feline asks. "Sure. I infuse every vintage with a series of anabolic proteins and neurotransmitters. Basically an up and a down cocktail. Why, nothing brings out the sweet like a little salt," the sommelier replies. "You really are an artist," Tim adds. "You're too kind. I'm a simple painter. Silicon Hills, the mecca of health and beauty, has the highest quality produce. Most places just import. But here we can be selective. The fruit is practically complete. I just apply a little finishing, basic infusions, add some essence here and there. Once distilled, you're left with a spirit practically rising from the glass." Tim presents his empty tumbler. "Well, I'll have another." The sommelier turns and heads back to the door behind the bar. He presses his thumb against a biometric reader. The lock mechanism clicks. "I'll grab one from my private stock." Behind the door, a dark room littered with blinking lights and mechanical sounds unfolds. There, in the middle of the floor, surrounded by tubes and cables, sits a young woman of about 20 years. Her blonde hair, a little disheveled, is pulled back by a series of electrodes fastened to her temples, her sunken eyes fixed on an invisible apparition in front of her. Though she is fastened to her chair with belts and security fasteners, she isn't moving, and probably hasn't for the past few months. Her eyes are wide and wetted with tears, though she doesn't blink. Barely a breath whispers from her as she sits frozen in front of the sommelier. Directly to her right is a tap of sorts, a rather simple spout attached to an otherwise serious-looking medical device. Tubes connect her to the reservoir, filling its tank while draining her of whatever fluid the sommelier has selected to harvest. The sommelier places a set of 3 tumblers in succession under the spout. A gurgling noise is uttered from the tank as its red contents spill into the glass receptacles. A faint beeping of an EKG monitor joins the chorus of refrigeration compressors humming and filling the dark room. As he fills each glass, the chirps of the monitor speed faster and faster. By the time he begins filling the 3rd glass, the beeps speed at an unsettling pace, followed by a sudden shuddered breath. The sound not unlike a choke. The girl seizes, her eyes rolled back and her muscles spasm violently, but not a sound can be heard except for the sounding alarm of the EKG as the ragged spikes of the glowing monitor become a flat line. The sommelier briefly looks at the pale blue face of the girl. He adjusts his full glasses, then walks back to his guest. "Here, try this." The sommelier hands the glasses to Phelan and Tim. Phelan settles over the rim of the glass and inhales the warm fragrance of the drink. He takes a sip. A spicy sensation meets his tongue, and a smile flashes across his lips. Oh, that's good, Phelan manages to say as a light-headed moment of elation hits his brain. The sommelier nods. "Yeah, man, not bad for a 20-year-old. He motions for the bartender to come over as Phelan and Tim enjoy their libations. The keg is empty on one. Have them swap it out with a new one from upstairs. Something red this time. The sommelier places his arms around his guests. "I'm so glad you both came in tonight. It's been too long." "It's always a bloody good time," Phelan says. The 3 men laugh.